Hey there, Twins fans. My name is Seth Stows of Twins Daily, twinsdaily.com, welcoming you to another episode of Twins Daily. Today is one of those days that prospect people like myself really enjoy, and that's talking about which prospects are being added to the 40-man roster and trying to think through the big league or front office's decision-making process, who's added, who's subtracted, who isn't added and could be taken in the Rule 5 draft next month. It's all, it's part of the fun for us as fans and as writers trying to guess some of this. For the people actually involved, the front office, there's a lot of stress in getting it right. For the players, obviously getting on the 40-man roster is a big deal because once you're on the 40-man roster, you can literally be called up at any time. It means you get invited to big league spring training. Or you're not even invited. You just have to go, and go from there. So the Twins today added two players, both right-handed pitchers, both spent most of the year at Double-A. The first one is Marco Raya, and I'll be, just FYI, we'll be joined by him tomorrow night on another Twin Spotlight. But tonight we're joined by the second pitcher added, and that is right-handed pitcher Travis Adams, who had a terrific season starting at Double-A Wichita, and he was able to end the year at Triple-A in St. Paul with a few starts. So without further ado, before I bring him in, I want to mention one thing. We got quite a few people watching live. I see triple digits right now, which is really exciting. But if you're watching on Twins Daily Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, you can feel free to leave comments, congratulate Travis, ask a question, and we'll go from there. But without further ado, let's bring in the star, the newest member of the Twins 40-man roster, Travis Adams. Travis, how are we tonight?
Doing good, doing good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining. I mean, I got to ask, we were talking a little earlier, like I said, getting on the 40-man roster is a big deal for a player. It removes one barrier from the big leagues. How did you find out the news? I assume you just found out today.
Yeah, I was just cooking breakfast in the morning and just making some eggs and toast, and got a call, and they let me know it's being added to the 40 man and whatnot, and that's kind of how I found out.
So who gives you a call? Is it the minor league director or is it one of your coaches?
Yeah, I got a call from Drew McPhail.
Okay,
They,
and he's the Twins farm director,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Okay, very cool. Is it something that as a player you give a lot of thought to, whether it's during the season or obviously, knowing you're eligible here this off season? I'm sure the last week has been running around in your head, but is it something that a player gives thought to throughout the season?
I mean, a little bit. Just kind of knew once the season was done, going to the Rule 5, and I thought I had a decent shot, kind of 50-50, but I really wasn't thinking too much into it. Still got to go out every day and train and stuff like that. So it was just kind of a back burner kind of thought, and if it happened, it happened. If it didn't, oh well. Still got to play baseball.
Absolutely. Now, I know I had you on a Twin Spotlight a couple of years ago, I think the year after your pro debut, and we talked a little bit about your time at Sacramento State and that you were a pinpoint control, throw strikes, don't walk anybody type of a pitcher. And that's not to say that you didn't throw hard, but in the big leagues, in pro ball, you're not walking a lot, a few more, but now you're throwing like 95, 97 and other pitches. So, how has the transition been not only over your career since signing, but specifically just in the last year?
Yeah, I'd say there was a lot of like development. Kind of my first year out in Wichita, there was a lot of like pitch development. Started throwing a new slider, tried throwing a splitter, tried throwing a new curveball and just sinker. And so there was a lot of trial and error that year, my first year in Wichita, and then just worked with it kind of throughout the year. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of downs, and just went to the off season, worked, and then coming into this spring training, we developed a cutter, and I think that definitely played a huge role in finding success, especially against like left-handed hitters. And I think there and establishing the fastball, gained a little bit of velo this year. I think I got up to 98 at one point here. So just having that extra little bit of velocity and uh,
Very cool. Going to bring up a little bit of highlight. My side of the computer is being a little bit slow right now, but hopefully this will work out and people can hear us a little bit. Wanted to ask you a little bit about early in the season. You spent last year in Wichita, and I would guess you'd admit it maybe didn't have the numbers at the end of the year that you wanted.
no, definitely
Big
did not.
smile. So I'm sure there's no surprise that that's where you started this season.
Yeah.
But what were your biggest adjustments as far as from the pitcher you were in 2023 to the pitcher you were in 2024, aside from just the numbers and the results?
I would say not a whole lot changed. I think it was just getting a better feel for, the types of hitters in Double A, and just really knowing, you can't miss stuff over the plate. You got to really be a little more precise, and just learning how to read the hitter swings, uh, and just kind of learn how to mix pitches correctly. And I think that definitely helped, you know, me take off a little bit this year and kind of put up the numbers that I was able to put up.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you dropped the ERA a couple of points. The whip dropped significantly, less than a hit per inning. All the while, not walking or hurting yourself with the walks.
Yeah.
Um, a little bit away from baseball, you got to play hero and pick up a pretty big save during spring training. I know it was a bit of a story. I put it on Twins Daily at the time, but you were also the big man on the news in the Fort Myers area for pretty much rescuing a guy from a fire, a neighbor or something down in Fort Myers. Do you still get people talking to you about that besides me?
It gets brought up kind of just randomly here and there. I was told today to kind of steer away from going into burning buildings now that I'm on the fort again.
Good plan. That's fantastic. I understand that you obviously have your fourth seam fastball, which I assume maybe is an up in the zone type of a pitch. Obviously, that's where you get your velocity from. But I understand you, like you said, you were working on a cutter, and I've been told that you also were working on kind of a sweeper, which over the course of the season became more of a sharp slider instead of the big sweeper. Talk about just kind of the mechanics and why, or the conversations you have with the coach, coordinator. Obviously, it's your career, so you hopefully have a voice in all of this. But working on pitches, adding pitches, grips, all those things. How does that work over the course of the season? And really, how do you know when you're at the point where, okay, I'm ready to use this and implement this pitch, and it's now where I want it to be, and I feel good about it?
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, it comes with a lot of trial and error. So with like the sweeper, uh, I really struggled to get it consistently, especially like throwing it for a strike, possibly, and then just being able to throw it at a decent velocity. And so I kind of felt that it wasn't the right pitch for me, and it was kind of tough for me to throw. And so we kind of went back and discussed some like possible types of sliders, and we kind of came up with a little more depthy one that I could throw that has a good bit of and good depth, just kind of tunnel off of and stuff like that. And then just really found out that the fastball play is the best at the top of the zone. So I really focused in on peppering that top of the zone with the fastball, and that allowed me to get a lot swing and miss.
Yeah, and again, bear with me. My computer's being a little bit slow here right now, but um, you know, you talk about adding those pitches. So at what point in the season, because I think you did have a point, maybe a couple months into the season, where suddenly you gained a lot more consistency, outing to outing, inning to inning. Was there some sort of a oh yeah moment, and something maybe clicked at some point? Because it seems like you're kind of headed down the path, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, every start is good at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Just find that groove. Find what works for me. But definitely, I think it just came down to kind of a mentality, kind of a bulldog mentality, and kind of just thinking, I'm better than that hitter, and just attacking every hitter with as much aggression as, and just kind of just trying to blow fastballs and stuff by him, and not really let him touch the ball.
I mean, it sounds like a great mentality for a starting pitcher, but I know you've been a starter your whole life. If the Twins came to you, say, next June and said, I know you're a starter, you've always been a starter, but we're going to call you up to the big leagues tomorrow if you're willing to pitch out of the bullpen, I'm guessing you don't say no.
I mean, I'd be all for it. Obviously, would prefer to be a starter as long as possible. But if I'm needed in the bullpen, and that's where they think I'll succeed, in the big leagues, I'm all for it.
Having worked a little bit out of the bullpen, and I know some of that was, someone there's a lot of good pitchers in the Twins organization. I mean, there really are. And a lot of them pitched at Wichita this year. So you guys kind of had a little bit of a strategy where you would make several starts. There were 6 or 7 guys. One would go on the development list. One would, basically piggyback with another. So I know your relief appearances were often piggybacking with a starter. So it's not quite the same, but having worked out of the bullpen, even just, the handful of times, does it kind of make you appreciate a little bit more what those guys actually do when they come in to try to protect a lead by you or, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I give all credit to those guys. I mean, they don't have very easy job, because you don't know really
Oh.
what, especially just being a reliever, you don't really know what days, you might not throw for a couple days, you might throw back to back days, you really don't know. And just having that readiness, I tip my cap to them. But doing these piggybacks and stuff, and obviously it's nice, knowing at what point in the game, this guy's gonna go, 4 or 5 innings, and then you have the fifth or sixth. So and it's kind of nice. I can do my routine and kind of simulate that, but just in the bullpen and be ready for my outing.
As you kind of look, like I mentioned, the pitching in the organization. You were drafted, I believe, with Festa. You saw Zebby Matthews for a short period mid-season. You've been in spring trainings with Simeon Woods Richardson. You played with a lot of these guys that got their first opportunity, and now in spring training, you'll kind of get your first opportunity as well. But talk a little bit about that pitching depth and what you think the Twins have maybe done in your years to kind of, I mean, everyone's adding a little velocity, and they actually have guys that are getting to the big leagues and succeeding fairly quickly with ups and downs, of course. You got to feel pretty good about those guys getting their opportunity, and it's got to make you excited knowing that they think enough of you to put you on the 40. They're not going to waste a 40 man. Those are valuable spots. To know
Yeah.
that you've got one has to feel really good when you consider, the guys that are or aren't on it.
Yeah, it's definitely honor to be selected this year, and it's also nice seeing Dave, Zebby, Woods, and all them make their debuts this year, and previous years. I definitely think the goal is to make mine this year, and I think just over the years of the Twins having a good strength conditioning program and good coaching and stuff, I think that's allowed me to get all the way to this point and have the possibility of debuting next year.
How important was it for you to get 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever it was, in St. Paul? I think you pitched in 4 games, made 3 starts, regardless of the results. And again, you had some ups and downs at the highest level in a not so pitcher friendly environment. Um, but how important was it to get to that level and just know you're that one step away?
It was awesome. I was super grateful to be able to finish up, the last month or so there, and just get a little taste of, what to expect, next year, and not, it not be a shock, and have to take some time to adjust. Got this nice little month to, see and know what I need to work on to, get off to a good start next year, and get off on the right foot, for the season, and just seeing what level those guys were at, and what I need to work on was very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in that short amount of time, you saw a lot of guys move up and down just to, again, show the value of that 40-man roster spot. Just a few more minutes here with Travis Adams. Again, he was added to the Twins 40-man roster just today, officially late this afternoon. And obviously a big deal for him. Again, Marco Raya, the other, he'll join us tomorrow night, I think 8 o'clock Central Time, and we'll pick his brain a little bit too and ask him a lot of these same questions. So if he watches this, he can study up a little bit. But speaking of questions, I do want to open it up. If anyone that's listening right now, either on YouTube or Facebook, has a question that you'd like to ask Travis Adams, or you just want to say congratulations, please feel free to leave a comment and do that in the comments. I've never seen so many people on a live show, so this is kind of encouraging to me. So again, thanks for joining. It's got to be who's this guy? Anyway, last few questions here. From me, we got a few things that I have to ask. As you look to the off season now, you've been home. I know you did make a trip. I don't know if you wanted to talk about it. I should have asked you ahead of time, but you made a trip after the season and obviously got a chance to do some pretty cool stuff. I don't know how much you want to talk about that, but I'll have questions if you're willing to discuss.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So you went to Japan.
Yeah, that was a
Tell us
blast.
a little bit about your trip.
Yeah, so me and one of my teammates, Jalen Allen, we both went out to Japan, and it was so much fun. It definitely, the expectations I had for it were definitely exceeded by a mile. The people out there were so friendly, so nice. It was super clean out there, and the food was delicious. Oh, me and Jalen, we got in love with this little curry spot. It was so good. I could probably eat in there every night. Uh, Food was so good, and then we also got to hang out with one of my old coaches, Yoshi, and we get to talk to some kids
Yeah.
about we got to talk to some kids about our me and Jalen's kind of personal journeys so far through professional baseball, and what's helped us get here, and kind of just talk to those kids and give them our little bit of wisdom that we have.
Well, that's what I saw. I saw some Instagram from Takashi Miyoshi, who I know isn't in the organization, but an opportunity to spend some time with kids over there, along with all the cultural and sightseeing, had to be a blast. So that was good to see. And we talked about the guys that weren't at it. Jalen Nowlin wasn't at it, and I think as a left-handed arm who's got kind of some of the stuff he's got, certainly a guy candidate to be selected. We hope not, but for him, I guess we hope so. Now, as you look to your off season, I assume obviously today is a big day, but at what point did you start kind of working out in preparation for 2025, and kind of what's your plan as far as when to start throwing and when to start throwing? I don't know, with a purpose or things like that.
So let's see. I got back from when the season ended. I came out to so I'm living out in Scottsdale, Arizona, and so I came out here. I'm actually living with Pearson. He's my roommate,
Okay.
and came out here for like 2 weeks before I went out to Japan, did a little bit of training, still kind of threw a little bit, and then basically went to Japan or went home for a week, went to Japan for two more, and then came straight back out here and basically just kind of got back in the gym, just been playing catch and stuff like that, and probably won't get off the mound and start throwing bullpens till probably middle of December, late December around there.
Okay.
So definitely enough time to get fully into the groove and get ready for hopefully big league spring training.
Yeah, which I believe is mid-February. Is that when you'll head there? Will you head there with pitchers and catchers, or do you know if you're there for any camps ahead of time, like has happened before?
Yeah, I'll be out there for early camp. I'll be out there like January 5th or like maybe a week later, somewhere in that early January spot.
Okay, okay. Um, so specifically, I mean, are there? You've had let's see, 3 full seasons in pro ball. You had a chance to succeed at Double A and now get time at Triple A, knowing you're one level away. Is it more about just cleaning up mechanics, or is it developing pitches still, or are there certain specific little things that you're really wanting to focus on throughout the off season, or is it just about none of that and it's just about preparing the body?
Definitely a little bit of both. Definitely getting the body prepared and kind of cleaning up from stuff that happened last year, and just kind of getting those some of the parts of your body, healthy and kind of working on making them stronger and stuff. But then also just like with the arsenal, I think my pitches are gonna be what I have, and then it's just fine tuning the execution part of and like locating and just kind of learning more about the mixing part and throwing pitches, at certain times, reading hitters' swings and stuff like that. So more of kind of a mental and not a whole lot of like mechanical uh, left to do.
For sure. And by the way, you can not only congratulate Travis, but you can say hi to me too if you want. Hi, Cody. Um, anyway, next question. Have you given any thought? And first of all, I should ask, in previous spring trainings, have you ever been one of those guys pulled over to the big league side and pitched in a big league spring training game? And if so, or if not, how do you envision going into that clubhouse in Fort Myers and in February and kind of just taking it all in? Are you getting excited, or are you trying to avoid that until February?
Yeah, no, I'm super excited, and the thought process of it, and getting to be on that side of things now. But in previous years, I haven't gotten to be on the big league side. I've more of just gone to the backfields and gotten to throw against the big league hitters. Royce, Buxton, kind of those guys, and just get to throw live ABs against them. But haven't been like in the clubhouse, with them, except for when Buxton, came to AAA and did his little
Yeah,
rehab.
yeah. His first career ejection. Um, no, that's a lot of fun, and I'm sure you'll learn a ton. Pablo Lopez and some of the veterans. I'm sure they'll bring some guys in as well. Um, Curious your thoughts. What are you streaming these days? Anything on Netflix? Or are you a Max guy, or are you a book reader, or podcast listener tour?
Just watch some anime, just kind of stuff. Uh,
Okay,
watch the Family Guy, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy.
all right. I like that. Got to keep it funny.
Yeah.
All right. Pre-game, you're making a start. What's your go-to meal?
I'm not too big of a eater before games.
Yeah.
It kind of messes my stomach, and I feel heavy, and so I try to keep it light. Maybe just little snacks. I definitely like my energy drinks. A little C4 before, get the blood going, get the adrenaline pumping.
All right. What kind of music you're listening to, if any?
I kind of listen to all sorts. A little bit of country, a little bit of rap, a little old school stuff. Not really too big on a certain genre or someone.
In the comments here, we've got one from Robert saying Robert says he was a better t-ball player than you. Oh, hopefully this is somebody you know and not some
It
hated
is.
opponent or something.
I used to play baseball with him and stuff.
All right. And kind of one of the questions I like to ask too is, you know, and it's a tough position to put you in, but at the same time, who are some of those people in your life who have helped you get to this point? I mean, obviously, we've talked about there's one more jump, AAA to the big leagues. A barrier to that has been helped today. And then there's the barrier of not only getting there, but hopefully staying there. But you've come a long ways, even just since signing. So, who are some of the people in your life who have kind of helped you get to this point?
Obviously, my family, parents and stuff, being there for me, through the ups and downs. And then just a lot of my teammates, everyone's super supportive. And, we all try to get each other better. We try to if I struggle with something, I'm gonna go to someone that excels in that, and hopefully to learn as much as possible from him. And then kind of vice versa. If I do something good that he doesn't, he'll come to me, and I'll just try to be as helpful as possible. And so, just kind of all your teammates and coaches and stuff, just really trying to help each other out. And we all want to see each other succeed.
Absolutely. All right. Any other plans for the off season? Anything fun or anything to get away from the game? Are you a big golfer too, or do you stay
Yeah,
away from that?
just golfing. Me and Pearson will golf probably this week at some point. and
Who's gonna win?
it'll be a close one. He
Yeah.
might edge me out a little bit, but it should be close for a while.
From the pitchers you pitched with at Wichita this year, are you guys the elite golfers, or is there someone else that's the standout?
Yeah, me and Pierce are probably the two top golfers. Uh,
Okay.
but there are definitely some other guys in the org that can, give us a run for our money. So
All right.
we always throw the offer there. They can challenge us to a 2v2. Me and Pearson versus whoever will gladly
There we
play.
go. And if anyone's in that Scottsdale area, I'm sure
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you guys are still quote unquote poor minor leaguers, so they could buy you lunch and pay for your round. And
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. Yeah, no,
let me know. We'll make it work. All right. Well, I'm going to leave it at that. I've taken up a bunch of your time, but I seriously appreciate it. And also just congratulations. Might be a surprise to some, but again, knowing the stuff that you've got in your arsenal, I think people are going to be surprised at what you're able to do. And, like I said, enjoy your off season and take this for what it is and keep working. And I look forward to next spring and seeing how things go. And yeah, just enjoy it, man. You deserve it. Thank you.
looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, and with that, a reminder: we'll be on again tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time, with Marco Raya to talk about his addition to the 40-man roster, and we'll continue doing Twin Spotlights throughout the off season. So, without further ado, thanks again to Travis Adams, and of course, go Twins! Thanks everyone
Yeah.
for listening.